How's it going, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the James Lab Podcast. And today, our special guest is Dominic from 8th Iron. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, James. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. So you took this long drive up here from Huntington Beach, I believe, or
a little more inland.
a little more inland?
SoCal, yeah.
Yeah. That long drive to get here.
Yeah.
But, so thank you so much for coming on up, man. It's been interesting watching you evolve in this industry. I've only known you for maybe a year and a half, 2 years, I think, but seeing your posts on Instagram and your YouTube and taking that to these golf tournaments, I really think it's inspirational, especially for the younger generation, seeing people that have the motivation to like put the effort in.
Right. No, for sure. This, since I started 8th Iron, bringing the cannabis and golf together has been a pretty fun ride so far. And we're still just getting started, really.
Well, and I love it because I feel like you're doing something that's different. There's so many people that do the same thing as everybody else, you know, whether it's podcasts or these things, but you're taking it your own interpretation of, you know, entertainment. And, you know, I feel like the social media stuff, it's like you're really taking it to the next level by incorporating golf and cannabis together. It's something that is much needed. You know, cannabis can go in any direction, but there's a lot of guys on the golf course that smoke.
Oh, and that's a part of it anyways, is I was golfing. I'm at country clubs teaching lessons, and you'd be surprised how many golfers are out there smoking weed. So
Totally.
it just makes sense, weed and being on a golf course.
Yeah. So originally we met through my friend Ryan from RIP, and I've been friends with him for over 20 years. I think 25 years now. And he was telling me about you. He's like, this guy's a golf pro. He works with me. He works with my son. He's a stoner. He's amazing. You got to meet this guy. And so, you know, I think there was like a 6-month period. And then we met and started talking. But yeah, it's really interesting. The tournament stuff that you're doing now too. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. No, it's been pretty cool making all these connections in the industry and getting everybody to get on board and kind of understand what I'm doing and all the support. So yeah, it's really cool right now.
Yeah. So how did all this evolve?
So when I was 17, 18 in that realm, I actually started trying to grow my own plants. So growing up in high school, I sold weed, did all that stuff, getting in trouble all the time. I was a pretty good athlete, played baseball, football, stuff like that. And then once I got out of high school, I started growing. So weed has been a part of my life since I was young. And then I started golfing actually around COVID. And then I became a golf pro in about a year or almost 2 years.
Which is like unheard of.
Yeah.
That's like unheard. I used to play a lot of golf too.
Yeah.
And I was a chef. I worked at country clubs. I played a lot of golf. But being, you know, from the time you started, that's pretty wild.
Yeah. No, everybody tells me it's pretty much the quickest they've ever heard anybody do all that, because I did the PGA, PAT. You play 36 holes in one day. You got to shoot certain score. Passed it my first try, and then started working at some country clubs. And then the second country club I was teaching lessons at is where I met Ryan. Yeah. And that's where I started giving him lessons and his son.
Nice.
And a little bit before that, though, I had this idea for 8th Iron. I'm like, I want to bring what I know so far, which up to that point was weed and then now golf. Yeah. And I wanted to see how I can make the two come together. So I knew a lot of people were doing, you know, like networking events, just like mixers, but on the golf course. You know, every industry does that. But I wanted an actual golf brand that's weed infused. So I was sitting on this idea for about a year or so. And then when I was in Huntington Beach, I was teaching lessons. Like I said, I was practicing a lot. I was trying to start playing tournaments and everything. And then my mother actually passed away while I was over there. And after that, I kind of was like, I just want to start this already. I don't know what I'm waiting for. Yeah. So started it. I started out with just some hats, some merch. I went to a couple of these golf, like the cannabis industry mixers and everything. Yeah. And my second event I went to, somebody bought all my hats. They bought everything I had. And I was out of inventory. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. You know, like everybody loved it right away. So then I ended up actually having a bunch of complications of getting more hats, more inventory. They sent it to the wrong state. Then it came back this way. Then I got my hats, the embroider, cut open the box, slit all the tops of the hats. Oh, no. I had to order new hats. So this was like a 3-month process of shipping here back and forth. So in that amount of time, I was wondering like, what can I do to keep the brand going since I don't have any merch and I just started, so that's how I got into the events through golf. I learned how to, host the events, do all that as a golf pro in the industry. So I felt like it only made sense. And then a lot of people in the cannabis industry I was making connections with, obviously big stoner. And then they like golfing with good golfers. So I was able to network with a lot of business owners, a lot of company owners, announce my event. Nobody really knew who I was. But a few people were like, oh, I know that guy, like he's legit, whatever. So at the course I was at after Huntington, I talked to the owner. I was telling him like, hey, I want to do this event. They already knew about my brand that I just started. And then so I got everything together. I got the sponsors, I got the food, we got everything dialed in. And like 3 weeks before the event, the course backed out because I guess members were talking, complaining, and
wow,
they got kind of scared. So in that time, for those 3 weeks, it was actually only like 3 days. I emailed almost every course in Southern California and I told them like, look, we're gonna have cannabis brands. Like I just was straight up and, straightforward with them, like completely honest. And then every course said no, except for one course. And it was called Cross Creek over in Temecula. And it's like in this wine country back in the hills, no service, middle of nowhere kind of thing. So it actually ended up working out way better that it was there because the scenery, the vibes, nobody could be on their phones. So after that event, it was a huge success. We had a bunch of people come out. Everybody loved it. They're all like, you need to keep doing these. And then since then, we did a couple other kinds. We did simulator events. Nice. We did our annual one at the same course again. And then, now we're going to Vegas. So
it's pretty wild. Yeah. You got Fortunate Youth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. High Times is going to be there. I'll be out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's wild. I think how cannabis has evolved and started to become more normalized. I wouldn't say that it's fully normalized, but like when you look at golf tournaments, traditionally it's alcohol, people get wasted. Sometimes there's people throwing up, doing stupid stuff. Mm-hmm. I feel like cannabis is a good alternative to the whole golf tournament model that I think a lot of people could embrace, and it's going to improve the quality of the events.
Oh, for sure. I've seen that exact thing where people drink too much, they start flipping carts. I think alcohol just gives people that liquid courage too. They start talking crap. Right. Maybe a fight breaks out. But you're never going to see some guy smoking a joint and then getting that mad. So It's funny because the course, at first, they were kind of like, all right, like we'll do this, but we'll kind of see. And then at the end of the day, they're like, wow, this was one of the chillest events I've ever had. Somebody just comes in like, can I get a box of Pro V1s? Instead of like, woo, like all drunk and going crazy in there. So they were actually surprised.
I'm not hating on alcohol at all because I think a good beer here or there. Ryan, he owns Rip Brewing, and I love their beer. I mean, they're very cannabis centric for a beer company. I love the fact that they're cannabis centric. Because I think he's a pothead from back in the day. Mm-hmm. It's pretty amazing his journey to get here, right, and how we've kind of all evolved in our own ways. But yeah, the golf thing, it's like I think a lot of people. So there's two interesting things. There's the guys that judge golfers and they think, oh, they're just super straight guys. They don't party, or they party way too much. They just do business on the golf course. It's just, there's a certain type of person that they try to fit into this demographic. And same thing with potheads. Right. And the thing is if you're trying to like put us in a box, you're going to be wrong, because golfers are all over the place. Stoners are all over the place. And there's this nice big intersection where guys that play golf smoke weed.
Oh, for sure. And that's a big part of what I want to do, because everyone at the country club, I had my hair, combed over, shaved. You couldn't ever wear a hat. You had to have your polo tucked in. You got to look like you're legit. And then they didn't realize, though, every time I'm teaching a lesson, I have a pen that I'm ripping just before I go out to teach that lesson, and they have no idea. And yeah, if you tell them, oh, I've been smoking weed or I'm a pothead, whatever, they might have that different opinion of you. But I think that's kind of how you break the stigmas, is people that you wouldn't think are doing that, showing that they're high functioning people, but they just smoke weed all the time. You know, you never know. So I think that's pretty cool.
Well, you know, and we've got the Michael Jordans that play golf, but we also have the Alice Coopers and the Trey Cools that play golf. You know, I've seen those guys out on the golf course, right? So Sequoia Country Club at their golf tournament.
Oh, okay.
They did the celebrity golf tournament that I think Alice Cooper put on a long time ago at Sequoia Country Club in the Oakland Hills, where the Raiders were founded. I used to work there a long time ago. I used to grow weed on one of the holes and also work at the golf club. So it's a lot of fun.
So you just had some plants on one of the corners of the hole, or before it was
house.
built?
A house. There was a house. Yeah,
okay.
There was a house with 20 lights in it, 2 10-lighters.
Oh, nice.
Back when weed was really expensive. So it was good times, and I was able to go on my lunch breaks and go over to tend to the plants. And I enjoy cooking, but I also enjoy growing, and I've done both for a long time. And you know, it's like, I hate when people try to put people into a box and say, well, that's it. And it's like, you can be a cook and grow weed. In fact, cooks grow better weed than most people. Same thing with guys in construction. People have that have that mentality. But the thing with cooks is they understand that every plate has to be the same. They understand repetition. And I think there's a lot of that with golf too. A lot of it's repetition. Like, you know, and just because you're practicing doesn't mean you're going to improve always. What's the saying? Perfect practice makes perfect.
Right.
Not practice makes perfect, because I think if you practice and you're not doing stuff correctly, you're just going to ingrain bad habits. And I think that same thing with growing, same thing with everything in life, whether you're playing music, you can ingrain bad habits and then you have to undo those things. And golf is the worst with that, because a lot of it is just so counterintuitive.
Right. And it's one of those things where it's so technical, but it's also so much in your head, because if you start clouding your own head, you can't send that to your body to make it move the right way, you know? So I'll teach a lesson. I'll show somebody exactly how to do it. I'll put my hands over their hand, like bend the wrist, do everything exactly how I want it. And then as soon as I take my hand off, they start doing something weird again. So it's just hard to get that consistency. And like you said, perfect practice makes perfect, you know, because there's sometimes you might tell somebody, oh, you need to work on this. You do the lesson. And then they practice that for the next 2 weeks, but they've been doing it wrong the whole time. And now you come back to the lesson, you're like, well, we need to work on the same thing still. We can't even go to the next step until you get this step down, because, you know, that consistency right there.
Rolling joints,
right way.
Same thing. I swear, rolling joints, it's all muscle memory too. And if you can get out of your head, a lot of times you'll be successful. I know jiu-jitsu is like that, you know, just from experience. It's like when I'm out of my head, when I'm not thinking about it, I perform so much better. Right? Same thing with joint rolling. When it becomes, and I don't listen to music when I roll joints. It's the strangest thing, because people are like, why don't you put on music? It's like, no, I don't want to listen to music when I'm rolling joints, because now I'm doing it where I'm doing 100 joints at a time sometimes. And I want that to be the meditation. And when I worked in a restaurant, when I was at Chez Panisse in 2005, interning there, we didn't listen to music in the kitchen. And I asked one day, why aren't we listening to music? And they're like, the music is the food and the experience and all this stuff. You're supposed to be, you know, involved in that. That's where your head should be, not in the music. You shouldn't be tuned out. You should be tuned in. And that's also like with golf too. You need to be tuned in, but you need to also not be in your head.
Right, for sure. And that's why I think cannabis helps so much, and people don't realize it until they go out, play, and smoke, and they're like, this all makes sense now. Because not only do you have to be consistent and it's technical, but like you said, it's in your head. So when any sport, when you're trying to compete, if you're in your head, you can't compete. You just have to be in the experience. So what weed helps for me is I smoke, I can visualize, I feel so much more creative. We're outdoors, I'm looking at the trees, I'm feeling the grass, I'm getting into that environment, locking in, just like you said, in the kitchen. And I can visualize what shots I want to hit, versus if you're thinking about too much stuff, you're not even thinking about the shot. You're like, all right, I need my wrist to do this and I need to turn, and like none of that matters except for the ball flight. So that's how you got to picture first in your head.
Totally. You look at the John Daly's out there too, you know, it's like those guys are like, it's all muscle memory for them at a certain point after you've had a fifth.
Yeah.
You know, there's guys that smoke an eighth and there are guys that drink a fifth.
That's how, I mean, I stopped going to the range before my rounds because of that exact reason. Instead of warming up, I would start trying stuff like, oh, let me try to hit a draw today, or let me hit a fade. But instead, I'll just go to the first tee. I'll take out my Carta, take a dab. blow it out. All right, we're ready to go.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of Sam and Carta, and the Focus V and the Focus Sport is like my favorite.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Sport since the Sport came out last year. We were looking at one of the rigs. We went through over 400 dabs, and I think that I have a few Cartas,
right?
And like literally, we just I enjoy it.
Yeah. No, shout out Focus V. They always keep me carded up. So
nice.
I got a few too.
Yeah, it's funny. So there are some big supporters that I'd like to shout out, like Organitips. It's funny because I have a gift bag that I give to my guests that come on the podcast, and then you brought a little gift bag for me, and we both had Organitips in them. So big shout out to Organitips. I think that the world needs people like Organitips and like Focus V and Carta to actually support events, support people, to support us, and we can support them too. I mean, I try to support, just like I try to support you with seeds and joints now that we're doing the joints for events. I mean, I think that we all need to lift each other up. And when you see good people, you want to try to lift them up, because there's going to be a point where maybe they can lift you up or they can introduce you to somebody.
Right.
And that's how this world works. And I think there's a lot of hate in this cannabis community. We get haters online, we get all this stuff. And it's really, at the end of the day, a good community with a handful of bad actors.
Right. And the community, I feel like, is everything. And that's exactly what I'm doing with Eighth Iron is I'm bringing cannabis community and I'm bringing golf community together. And if you look at, I have a camera roll of pictures, I'll show you some. Yeah. And it's pretty funny because one guy looks like a straight golfer, professional on tour. One guy looks like he might be a gangbanger. Anything in between that, the golf and weed are the only things that brought them together. And so that's why I feel like the community is so powerful, because when we're all coming together for a bigger picture, everybody gets to know what Organitips is. Everybody gets to know what Focus V, everybody, and then they start buying this and then they start supporting them. And then everybody supporting each other. And then that's how you make the biggest movement, the biggest changes, because everybody gets on board rather than like, oh, well, I want to do that instead. I'm not going to send him this because I'm just going to do my own thing. It's like, no, we're supporting each other. You have your thing, I have my thing. How can we make that all work?
Yeah, I mean, I have two substrate companies that sponsor me, and I love both of them. We've got Grodan and Kaya, and I love Kaya and I love Grodan for different reasons. I use both products in-house, and I believe in them. I don't have any sponsors that I don't believe in what they do. Right. And I feel like they believe in me, otherwise they wouldn't be sponsoring me. We got Canna also. They do some substrates as well. So technically we have three, and I feel like we have some of the biggest sponsors in the industry. And it's because I feel like I'm community-based, where I feel like I want to lift these guys up. I feel like if we can do this all together, the industry isn't what it used to be. It's a lot tougher to make it now. But, you're proof that, like, if you're determined, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and I think that more people need to hear that. And that's what I love about podcasts like this is like, there's guys like you who are like, I'm going to make this happen no matter what the fuck. It's just the reality of it. And if you believe in it enough, to the point where you sound senile, that's a good thing. Right. And I think that, it's tough. It's tough, but everything's tough in life. If you own a business, it's very difficult. Right. And the odds of you being successful as a business owner is very slim, but that doesn't deter business owners from being successful, especially the successful ones. They're beating the odds. And a lot of it is hard work. It's drive, it's passion. If you're super passionate about it, you can be successful at anything.
Right. And a lot of that too, perseverance, because everyone has a plan and the plan almost never goes what you think it's going to go. So you always have to make the pivots. And like you said, just how am I going to make this happen? No matter what, I'm making this happen. So what are the next steps? This isn't working. Okay. So what can I do in place of that? What are the next steps for that? And it's really a never ending grind, because if you want to be successful, you can't give up on yourself, because that's, your own thing. So yeah, just persevering through all that.
Totally. Well, and golf is like the best example of life, right? Because I feel like you have a game plan going in, you're going to hit the ball here. Especially if you go to the same course over and over, you're like, I know how to play this. This round's going to go great. Yeah. Right. And in your head, the round is going great, but it always goes off path, right? Like you think you're going to hit the ball left, it goes right. You have to figure it out as it goes along, and you have to make good decisions. And the more good decisions you make, the more success you're going to have on the course.
Right. And yeah, good decisions, weighing your decisions.
Yep.
You know, if depending on your skill level, that dictates your decisions too. You know, one person might be able to hit it over the tree.
Yep.
One person hits the ball low, so they have to go under the tree. So, and that's what I figured too with golf is there's always a different way to do it. Yep. We have 14 clubs in the bag. I could putt this, I could chip it, I could full swing, I could, you know, so just depending on where you're at, what your situation is, you have to figure out, how do I get out of this situation? How do I capitalize from this? And yeah, it's just a never ending game of literally life. So that's why I like it so much.
Yeah. And even the best guys out there, they still make mistakes all the time. It's like you look at the Tiger Woods, and if you watch Tiger's career from when he was very young, it's like he made a lot of mistakes on the golf course. And there was, there was the stress-induced mistakes that he made where he was at points in his life that he was going through something. And it's like, that's when you're in your head, and getting out of your head is like, that's the whole, magic to the mystery is getting out of your head.
Right. And people, they always think that scratch golf, shooting even par, they think every shot's going down the middle, you're hitting every green, 2-putt, or you make a birdie here and there. But in reality, I play with a lot of golf pros, scratch golfers, college kids. They're hitting balls 40 yards right sometimes. But when you do that, how do you recover? Yeah. You put yourself in a bad position. You weren't trying to, but you are now. So how do you get out of that? And it's in golf, you can hit bad shots and it works out, or you can hit good shots and they don't work out. So that's a whole nother element of it, of in your mental, I just hit the best shot ever. Why isn't it in the fairway? But you hit a sprinkler head and then it went over into the water or something.
Just like life.
One of those things. Exactly.
Or you can go short and you can hit the cart path and the ball goes 350 yards.
Exactly. You shank it right onto the green and make a birdie and you're like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. The perspective. That's why I try to tell people all the time, the perspective of golf is you're never out of a hole. As long as you can find your ball and you can put the club on it, you're never out of it. So there's no reason to get too overly frustrated. And I think that's where the cannabis comes in too, is like, just smoke this joint real quick and relax, like it's a long day. We're going to be out here for 4 or 5 hours. Don't let this 5-minute stretch of your day, ruin your whole round kind of thing,
Totally. So you do amazing content online that I think we could all learn from, especially your golf content. It looks like you pay a professional. A lot of this stuff is like, you were doing stuff before anybody else. There's other people that have started doing stuff similar, but like literally the content quality that you're creating is, professional level, and you're doing it with the phone, I take it?
Yeah, just on my iPhone. I have an editing app. I just edit everything on my phone. I do everything. So I make the flyers for the events, do all the stuff for the events, do the content, edit the content, think about what I want for the content. And honestly, I just have whoever's with me. So if me and you are golfing, I'm like, hey, can you just record this real quick? Stand right there. Yeah. I'm going to go this way, or hold on, let's switch this around. And then that's really all it is. Like, you don't really need a whole crew to go out and make content, especially on the course. Just pull out the phone and, make it happen.
Did you go to school for it?
No, I didn't go to college, none of that. Like I said, right after high school, I started doing all the cannabis stuff, and then now, golf, and then now I just do both of them. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing with the quality of cameras, and then once you start understanding light and angles, I feel like maybe some people like yourself are just gifted where they like pick it up right away. But it took me a long time to figure out, okay, well, lighting and outdoor too. Like outdoor isn't the same as indoor. Indoor, we can have the lighting set, but if you're outside, the light changes. We have the sun in different places. It's not always opportune time to put it on a certain hole when it's super bright out. I mean, there's just so much to it.
Yeah. It's there's a lot to it, and then it's simple at the same time. It's I try not to stress too much over the perfect angle or the perfect this. It's because the editing could help out with a little bit of that. If at any time it's a wrong angle, add in a little graphic or add this or do a transition, stuff like that to kind of mitigate anything. Like, cause not every video I've made was what I wanted once I got home and looked at it. Right. And then I'm like, all right, well, I already have this. I'm not going to film it again. So how am I going to make this work? And then, that's where the editing comes in. So
nice. Yeah, it's real interesting. Do you bring a tripod? What's your equipment look like? You don't use light. You just use natural light. You're using your phone and a tripod sometimes, or no tripod at all?
No tripod. Just whoever's with me, I'm like, hey, hold this real quick. You stand right there. And then I'm like, all right, like I'll put my ball down. Yeah. And then I'll stand in the position. And then I'll make sure that they get in that position. I'm like, don't do anything. Or I'll be like, okay, zoom. This is how you zoom. Yeah. And whoever's with me, I just teach them on the spot. And I mean, everyone nowadays could pull out their iPhone and take a video. So
totally. Yeah. I mean, my parents are doing it.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. You know, technology has come so far from we used to have our own cameras. Now it's like the camera's built into the phone. You know, the phone does everything. It's our computer, it's our calendar, it's our watch, it's our alarm, it's our film. You know, we don't need a video camera. We have a camera and a video camera built in that's better quality than most of the video cameras and the cameras back in the day.
It is. No, it for sure is. Especially this new iPhone. There's this new way where if you stand like 30 yards back, but you put it on 5x zoom, yeah, it's like 4K at that moment, and then it zooms in 4K, like 24x zoom or something. So wow, you can zoom in all the way on the ball flight as it's going up, and you could watch it land on the green from, you know, a couple hundred yards away. So that's been a big help too.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah,
it's a trip. And then it's like, what's in store for us next? And I kind of know we're looking at, you know, I mean, Ryan wears his glasses, his Meta glasses everywhere. And the glasses are the future, right? So when you have a built-in contacts, eventually they'll have cameras, cameras and video cameras in your contacts so you can record stuff.
Yeah, no, and the technology is getting crazy, and it's really, we're just scratching the surface because, you know, we're just learning all this stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, with AI too in golf, it's like it's pretty wild. Mm-hmm. So, and then golf and learning's interesting with golf too, because you know, we have these screens now, and we've had them for a while because I've been hitting on a screen for probably, I was a chef in 2009, really. Like, so before then it was like 2007, I think, was the first time I hit onto a screen.
Yeah.
And now they've got courses. You can play the actual courses, you know, like they have, yeah. And they have these places that have like, you can go play, if you want to go play Pebble Beach, you can go play the indoor digital version of Pebble Beach.
Right. Yeah. And you could say you played Pebble Beach, not in real life, obviously, but you got to see the holes, hit your yardages, you know, get to play it.
So as somebody who plays golf, if you're going to go play Pebble Beach, you could go indoors and like kind of figure the course out before you even go out there and get a good idea, potentially, at least of what the course looks like.
Yeah, no, and what a lot of people do, there's other apps that come out where they have GPS. So what I do sometimes if I'm playing a new course is I'll go on this app, I'll look at the GPS, I'll kind of plan out my round, like, all right, this hole's 350, so I'm going to start out with this one, and this one is this, and you kind of plan your round out. So doing that on the simulator is pretty much the same, but you actually get to hit that shot that you're thinking about, as far as like, okay, I'm gonna hit a hybrid off of this tee, or I'm gonna do this. Like, you could course manage, and it has the actual coordinates of the humidity levels, and it's at sea level, so that means the ball's not going quite as far, and calculating all that in, so you actually get, you know, a good idea. But it's always different hitting on real grass versus a mat. Like, you can't really mess up on a mat as much because it'll just bounce the club into the ball. So yeah, that's something that, you know, would be probably the biggest difference, obviously, right there.
Totally. Well, Pebble Beach, the executive chef of Pebble Beach, I believe, is still Ben Brown. I cooked his parents' 50th anniversary party back in 2007. But yeah, it's pretty, that course is amazing too. You get your own caddy. Mm-hmm. So it's rare where you go to a course and you get a caddy from, you know, that they have on staff and will help you out, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, and a caddy, it'll definitely be a lot of help, especially if you've never played there. You know, giving you all the course knowledge. Hit it on this side, it'll funnel down this way. You don't want to be long here, or, you know, doing what caddies do.
Right. Yeah, golf's hard enough.
So it's like your little personal assistant.
Yeah, and I mean, that can make all the difference too, especially because a lot of times stuff looks a certain way when you're standing back and you're like, oh, well, it looks like I should hit it here. But if you know the course, you know that that's not the case.
Right.
And especially some of these link style courses, we got TPC San Francisco Bay in Hayward up in the hills here. Mm-hmm. And that course is a nightmare if you're, like, especially for me, I lose balls every time I play there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a lot of fun, but it's nothing, I could never walk that course.
Oh, is it really hilly?
Oh man, yeah, it's so hilly, like you get in good shape if you walk it. I mean, there's people that do, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of courses. I do like those elevation change courses. If they get too crazy, some of them don't allow you to walk because they don't want you to mess up the pace of play.
Right.
But those are always fun. It's the perception or the perspective is always weird when you're teeing off of a cliff and you're watching the ball fall down and you think it's going to go a certain distance and it's the completely wrong distance or it's the right distance. It's like, yeah, it's like watching an asteroid just in the air.
Totally. But yeah, so let's talk about your tournament in Vegas.
Okay.
So yeah, tell us about the tournament in Vegas. I saw Fortunate Youth and I'm like, okay, he's onto something. That's what we need is like that crossover because now it incorporates people that like music. So it's like not only just cannabis, but it's people that like music, people that like golf. We got a bigger demographic that you can target and yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, so the whole thing behind that was at my last event, I actually was trying to get them to perform on the range of my event, but the lead singer, DK, Dan Kelly, who wasn't available, he was on vacation or something like that. So I still ended up having live music though. I had a couple artists come out, play on the range live while golfers are warming up. And so that idea was kind of put together then. And then the Fortunate Youth guys have came out to all my events so far. So they're like, all right, well, we're doing our tour. This is the start of our tour date. And we put something together. And so, yeah, April 3rd, we're playing at Las Vegas Country Club, the 8th Iron style event, 8th Iron experience with Fortunate Youth. And then on April 4th, they're performing live at Area 15. So we're making it a 2-day ordeal. We're making it an entire weekend and, a little getaway for you.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really cool. So you got to Vegas a lot?
Not a lot. I went 3 times in December for different golf things, but besides that, I don't go out there too much. But this was the start of their tour date, so we wanted to start it out with a bang. And I've been trying to go out to different states as well, other legal states, to try and get 8th Iron and my style events. So this is a pretty cool next step to going to a new state, and there's going to be more states to come. So.
Well, and so 8th Iron isn't just a golf tournament. You have, it's like a lifestyle brand. It's also, you're talking about doing flower. We've kind of been talking about doing joints for you potentially in California. I want to talk to you more about that because I feel like there could be some potential there because we're looking for somebody to do sales down in your neck of the woods because we're all the way up here.
Right.
So we could potentially help you launch your brand with pre-rolls and you can do sales for us down there and also make some extra money.
Yeah, no, that'd be nice. Yeah, we're so 8th Iron, we're a full cannabis infused golf brand. So yeah, we've got merchandise, we do our events, and like you said, I've been working towards curating a line for on the course. So yeah, no, a lot of cool things, and I'm working on a couple other things. I won't talk too much about that though, but yeah.
Sometimes it's better not to talk about stuff before it happens. It's just, yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we have all kinds of stuff going on and sometimes stuff doesn't happen or doesn't happen on the timeline that you'd like to happen on. I mean, there's just so much.
Right. Yeah. So we're really just trying to hit all sides of the market with this because, with merchandise, we could be in golf shops. With cannabis products, we could be in dispensaries and then obviously still host our events. So I think this is like a really cool crossover because there's so many angles that, we could go about it to keep growing the business.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different directions you can go and then collaborating with other brands. And, like that's how you really go to other states is you find someone who wants to rep you out there that does flower. I mean, the potential is just so endless with this too. And it's like, we're only talking about the US right now, but like it's going international. So it's like, we're going to Germany with stuff. But the collaborations in Europe, in South America, in Australia, Australia is a big golf community out there too. A big golf country. They have a big golf community in their country. So there's so much potential for all this stuff, and it's just going to keep growing and growing and growing, and snowball. And I think the more that people accept cannabis as a normal thing like they do alcohol and tobacco, it is actually a lot better than either one of those things.
Right. And that's a part of what I'm trying to do too, is I'm trying to change that stigma, and I'm trying to bring it in as a full, a full lifestyle, essentially, to, like you said, where it's not a big deal anymore. That's just life. And I think even getting it up to the PGA Tour, I mean, there's a ton of those guys taking pills for recovery and they're in pain. And I think cannabis could solve a lot of those issues that they have going on.
Yeah, Phil Mickelson just came out with, he'd gambled like hundreds of millions of dollars or something like that. Pretty wild. And a lot of these guys, have taken pain pills. It's like, I think a lot of them took cortisol when they were on tour.
Right.
And then that's turned into, you get a lot of injuries, especially if you play golf all the time. And on the level that these guys have to perform at is pretty amazing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think just even on a stress level, I feel like from day to day, they're flying out, every week there's a new venue. Every week it's a new golf course. They still have their regular lives going on. Yeah, they have their pain. So I think cannabis could, help relieve a few of those problems that they got going on, especially just touring everywhere. And the toll that just travel takes on you, So that's kind of where we want to get to, is just bring cannabis fully into golf.
Yeah. I think we need to bring it in everything.
Right.
And that's part of the whole normalization of it, right? We're normalizing it. Yeah, there's been guys that smoke their cigarettes and drink their beer or drink their shots on the golf course forever. Since golf has been around, people have been drinking and smoking tobacco on the course, I'm sure.
Yeah, I forget who it was. It was in Palm Springs. I think it was either Frank Sinatra or something like that, where they invented the cart girl, essentially, because they wanted to drink cocktails on the course. And that's kind of where that whole idea birthed of somebody driving around with drinks in the cart. But
genius idea.
Yeah.
There's a lot of genius ideas that, so a lot of people don't know about the Olympic burger, which is also one of the most amazing things, that it's basically a hot dog, but instead of a hot dog in the middle, we've got a burger in the middle. And so
over at the course of, at
the Olympic Club in San Francisco. Yeah. The Olympic burger is my favorite form of a hamburger. It's like one of those ones I really look forward to. They had them at, I can't think of it right now off the top of my head, but the golf course in Napa, they have the same people in the snack bar in both places. And so they do the Olympic burger there as well.
Yeah.
And that's like
called Burger Dog or something like that.
It's such a stoner thing too. It's like the first time I had it, I'm like, oh, this is totally a stoner burger. Somebody put a long burger in a hot dog bun. How genius is that? Especially for country club. It's something that you can put in your cup holder technically, with a wrapper, of course. But yeah, I mean, it's like when I was at Sequoia Country Club, I came up with we had a wrap that would fit in the cup holder. It was a chicken wrap, and I created this Chipotle aioli before anybody else had Chipotle aioli, and a lot of fun.
Yeah. It's good to have those handheld, foods while you're out there, so you're not getting your fingers too greasy and spilling on you. So
totally,
sometimes a burger, you bite into it, some stuff falls out the back. So the burger dog makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And the golf course is where a lot of business happens in real life. A lot of business happens on golf courses. I think it's important, if you're in business, it's a great place to meet other people that, I think other successful people too.
Right. And, if you're even golfing with somebody too, I tell people all the time, it's expensive to golf. So if you can afford that lifestyle and you can afford to smoke cannabis a lot, you're probably, sitting a little pretty. And then the whole networking thing, I tell people this all the time, is golf is the greatest networking tool that's ever been made, because you get to see somebody's full personality while on the course. You see if they're cheating, you see how they react to bad shots, how they react to good shots, or if they can hold their composure. So you really get to know, especially if you're going to work with somebody, you get to know them quick. So
yeah, well, you're stuck out there for 4.5 hours a lot of times, and depending on how fast you're playing. But yeah, so you in 4.5 hours, we do these 2-hour podcasts, up to 2 hours, and you really get to know somebody in between an hour and 2 hours. You get to know somebody 4.5 hours. You really start seeing the way people move and how they tick. What's actually like. You break the ice, and then you start seeing the real person.
Right. Yeah. No, it's great because some people be hotheads out there. some people are kicking their ball from the side, you know, and
breaking clubs on the golf cart.
Yeah. It's
I've seen it all.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's great. You get to know them quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to get frustrated at golf too, and the more frustrated you are, it compounds.
Right.
So it's one of those things. Like even if you're not having a good day and you're not playing well, if you can just chill and relax, it seems like something. Flower helps.
Right.
Cannabis helps. Dabs help. I don't suggest everybody takes dabs when they go out on the course, but you know, I think some people can handle it, some people don't. I think for me, it wakes me up. And so I'm more clear-headed a lot of times. So dabs are great. Pens are great. But also, I love smoking. It's just a smell. People get turned off because they're like, dude, you guys reek. What's going on over there? And it's like, man, you should just let people be. But
right,
my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love taking dabs out there. But I mean, I take dabs every single day. So it's one of those things. But I think there's a time and a place for everything. If I'm just, you know, by myself and I'm golfing, I like to take my dabs so I could just hit it real quick and get back into focusing. But there's also a vibe to just lighting a joint, hanging back with your fellas, and everybody's just taking a couple rips. You're passing it around. Everybody's outside. You know, that's a whole aspect to it too. But hitting this ball and it sits there on the ground, it's like the most frustrating thing. And that's why people get so mad. They're like, the ball's just sitting right here. Why can't I hit this thing? You know? And that's something I had to learn from baseball, football, is those are all reactionary sports. And so your brain sometimes just knows what to do without even being able to process, you know, like if I threw you a ball, you might catch it right away.
Yeah. If someone's throwing a ball at your head, you're going to put your hand out.
But then, yeah, since the ball's sitting there, like,
you don't know what to do.
It's right there. It's like, how do I get this thing to go from right here to up there? And then that's where the swing thoughts come in. That's where maybe if I try this, maybe if I do that. And it's, it just doesn't end up working out, you know?
Totally. So let's dive into some genetic talk, because I know people are curious about what you like to smoke. You're from LA, SoCal, so everyone's going to think you like OG. What do you like?
I've been getting back to OG recently. I remember growing up, like, my favorite strain was GDP. I just remember it was like my freshman year of high school, just getting that super purple weed. This was probably like 2010. And that was like my favorite weed forever. And then I went to some citrus and like Tangies, you know, and then like Gorilla Glue was like going around like 2012, 2013, or maybe up to 2015, something like that. And
yeah, it was down south. It blew up. They won the cup in 2013 in San Bernardino. They won the 2013 cup and they gave out clones at the cup. And so Tangi was kind of prior to that. Tangi was just destroying all the cups. It was winning. You know, OG was the big thing in LA though. Right. So OG still is kind of the big thing in LA.
Yeah.
But Tangi had the like, dude, Tangi just used to win all the cannabis cups. I was there. I saw them just getting up on stage and just collecting cups, DNA Genetics and Crockett. And then Gorilla Glue kind of hit the market, and then Sour Diesel was gone. It replaced Sour Diesel because it was gassy, it was frosty, had the bag appeal, the nose burn, it checked all the boxes. GMO kind of popped up around then too. That was another one.
Yeah, like later, mid 2000 teens, 2016, 15, in that range right there. Hash is starting to get made, or into rosin at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a dumper when it started coming out, got popular.
Dude, this is pretty good.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been I guess there's a time and a place for everything. I mean, depending on what it is, like if it's rosin and I have something like if it's going to be OG, it's got to be really gassy, you know?
Right.
And then if it's like a Z, I like some Z's, you know, there's a lot of Z straws. Right, exactly. Yeah. I was tasting that right now. I'm like, all right. Yeah. But yeah, I like the citrus terps though too. I think they just like make me feel more uplifted, you know, versus so stony. So if I'm feeling like I need a little boost, I like those kind of terps. If I'm just trying to chill, then it's OG for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like different time, I like different things. Sometimes I like dabs, sometimes I like joints, sometimes I like bong rips. I like it all at the right time in the right place. Going to the movies, I don't want something that when I go to the movies to fall asleep. I'm infamous for going to the movies and falling asleep, and everyone gives me shit for it. I haven't been to the movies in a long time, but like when I used to go, it was like I'd be the guy to fall asleep at the movies because you're relaxed. I'm stoned. I'm like, it's good, but like I work so much that it would be like in the evening after a long day of work. Yeah. And then there's something for everybody too. I feel like that's the beauty of it is collecting data points over a period of your life. You really start to learn what you like with this plant and what the options are. Cause really there's so many different options. You want stuff that wakes you up that you cannot sleep no matter what you do. There's that. And then there's stuff that's like got the strong effect where it'll make you sleep. It'll make you have the munchies. GDP was like the munchie strain. Like literally if you smoked GDP back in the day, you would want to go in the refrigerator. That was the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, the GDP days. I remember just before I tried that GDP, there was some Snoop Dogg OG. And I remember that one for a while was my favorite too before that GDP came in. But yeah, the time and a place for everything, like you said, it's over time. I've been dab only at one point. Then I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to smoke flower for a little while. Or like you said, bong rips. I think it's just so versatile that you can, like this plant, there's so many kinds, so many effects. Yeah. You just find your desired effects. I know some people who want to smoke the same weed every time they ever smoke because they just like that specific effect too. But I like to switch it up for sure.
Well, and then there's people that are like super strong users and they're like, oh, it gives me the same effect. Everything I smoke just gets me high. And it's like, well, for me, it's like every time I smoke, I'm like, what kind of high is it? That's the first thing in my head is like, even right now, I'm like smoking here and I'm like trying to interpret like how I feel. Right. And so that's another data point that like, if you're conscious of it, I feel like you'll start gravitating towards certain things at certain times. And, I'm really conscious about the effect. I used to be a breeder I used to breed for flavor, right? Mm-hmm. I used to be a breeder that was going for flavor. And that was the most important thing to me was flavor. How terpy can I get this? Mm-hmm. What can I find blueberry in here? Can I find raspberry? Can I find strawberry there's all these berry different flavors. And it's like, some people think of berry as one thing, but it's like same thing with orange is like, is it orange juice? Is it orange pudding? Is it orange, custard? Is it orange blossom? Is it synthetic orange candy? It's like there's so many different things, and then they all have slightly different effects. They can have different effects on you. It's like just because it's orange doesn't mean it's going to make you feel a certain way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's fun, and that's the fun part of it for me is like, okay, well, let's talk about how it makes you feel. Like right now, I feel like this is uplifting. I don't feel like this is super strong. I feel like it's uplifting. It's good for conversations. That's why I bring it on shows is because almost everybody gets a similar effect with it too, where it's like, some people, when you smoke really strong stuff, they shut down and they're like real quiet and like having such a good podcast. And then all of a sudden we smoke this really strong stuff and then it just, it takes a downward spiral and just gets worse and worse and worse. It's only happened a couple of times. Once with Skittles, it was a fun podcast with Hallie from Humboldt Seed Company. She's great, but we smoked this batch of Living Soil Skittles that was extra strong, and Skittles is almost never super strong. Mm-hmm. And this batch was like 30 minutes into the podcast, we got super ripped. And it was a good podcast still, but it was like we were on this trajectory. There was an amazing podcast, and then we got high, and it was a good high podcast. But we were having lots of interesting conversations about genetics before it. So
yeah, no, I feel good off of that. It doesn't feel like it hit like the back of my eyes or anything, making my eyes feel all stony, but starting to feel it a little bit. But yeah, no, it feels like a good high. I like it.
And it has that long flavor. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the high for me is good. It's chill. You could pretty much do anything on a good Z, and then it has that long finish. Like 5 minutes later, you still taste it in your teeth. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about dabs too. Like really good dabs, like you put your tongue on your teeth. Like 5 minutes later, if you still taste it and it's good, you're like, yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Those Z terps and rosin though, that's one of my favorite terps and rosin for sure. And that a lot of people's obviously because there's so many Z crosses now, but yeah, that's a good one.
What's your opinion on toad venom? Have you heard about toad venom yet?
I have. I smoked it actually like 3 weeks ago, and I felt stoned off of it. I felt like the heavy eyes. I was like, oh, I like
strong.
this. Yeah. So And then, but I saw the social media stuff around it too. So,
oh yeah.
Oh man.
There's so much drama around stuff. It's so funny because like, especially with that, it's like, well, do you have the right cut? No, this guy didn't have the right cut. Oh, this guy, he gave out the wrong cuts. And I understand mistakes happen, you know, especially the person in question. He's like a really honorable person. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I try to stay out of other people's drama too. I'm like, yeah, but with Toad, it's like people are making it out to be the next big thing. And I think in a certain way it is the next big thing, but also the cuts out there, it's going to be a short-lived fad. Mm-hmm. Mark my words, literally short fad. I think that it's going to have its day and then they're going to have crosses and it's going to do, but people are going back to strong weed. I think more than it being a fad, it's a sign that people don't want just candy and that we're going to gravitate towards stronger stuff that has a stronger effect. Right. Because all the candies are pretty mild for the most part. There's a handful of them. The guava cherry from SF Canada, that shit is strong and it's candy. It's candy and it kicks your ass. Yeah. And so there's that, but people want stuff to kind of slap them in the face. Mm-hmm. Especially when the economy's bad, people don't have as much money. You don't want to have to smoke 3.5 grams to get ripped. It'd be great if you could only smoke a gram if you don't have money. Right. So there's got to be something for everybody. And we go through phases like, you're talking GDP, literally GDP to Tangy to Gorilla Glue. These are all completely different profiles and different fads that we've gone through as a community, as a culture. And we're not done going through fads. We're not by any means, and toad venom is just the latest thing that's kind of trending. Yeah. And some of them are bigger than others. Like OG Kush is one that fucking stuck, right? People loved OG and it stuck. I remember OG when it was just one thing, right? There was the same thing with sour diesel. There was only a sour diesel, one sour diesel. There was one OG Kush. That's all we had. We didn't have all this variety. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, people want variety. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, no, it's, I've always smoked for effects, really. I've never been like, if it doesn't have this flavor or have this nose, I'm not smoking it. Like, I've always wanted to try different ones, see how the profiles are, because you don't know until you don't try it. Somebody might be like, oh, this one isn't for me, just smelling it, or, whatever. But I feel like you said, for effects, like, why do we use it? For the effects. Totally. Nobody's just smoking just to smoke. I mean, some people might be, like I know like some rosin dudes that are hitting it so low temp that it's like, you're not even getting high anymore, but you're tasting it and they're like, oh, that tastes good. But
I like to be able to do 30 dabs. So I'm one of those guys that will take micro dabs, right? So I get the flavor and I can take like 30 dabs. I'm ripped. Mm. Yeah, I guarantee you I'm high after 30 micro dabs. But yeah, 30. I also am, I'm a flavor guy. So I'm also chasing these flavors and rosin is just so flavorful. Mm-hmm. And hash holes is another thing. I love hash holes. What's your thought on hash holes?
Oh, I love them too. They're perfect for the course. I think, they just give that extra hit, that the flower, like, don't get me wrong, I'm always getting high off of flower too, but just the amount that you have to smoke, just because overall smoking, obviously, that's why I like dabbing more, because I get higher quicker with less smoke, and then versus hitting all these joints. But yeah, no, it's they're perfect for the course.
Totally.
Especially if you have a group of people, everyone hits it a few times, everybody's ripped off of it. So
yeah, it's a good 30-minute experience if it's done right. And I feel like Skittles, goes good with everything. So you can use Skittles rosin in every single flavor. I have not found something that Skittles doesn't complement. Mm-hmm. So, or something else doesn't complement the Skittles rosin. Because I feel like it's the rosin combined with the flour together. They make it's like a Voltron coming together.
Yeah, it's like just on crack, on steroids.
Oh yeah, and it's flavor on flavor. And then even if you do rosin with the flour that matches the rosin, those are great too, because it turns up the flavor and the effect. I really like those. It's like some of these brands like Sonoma Hills, they do the Pink Jesus, and that is just phenomenal.
I haven't tried that. I'm interested to try that. I'm sure you've tried so many different things over the years.
Every day I'm trying. I think I have 10 different things in my bag right now that I haven't been able to try yet, but I'm excited to get into. Yeah. So yeah, we're constantly, and I feel like I'm trying to build my palate too. So I'm constantly looking at what's new, what's the latest and greatest. Mm-hmm. Toad venom. I've tried 5 different toad venoms now. Last week it was only 3. I tried 2 different, because now it's so popular. Everyone's got toad venom, and 3 of them were different strains, to be honest. I think one was Oreos too. And I'm like, dude, what's going on here? Like, that's not right.
Right.
But that's what happens out there. The name doesn't always tell the whole story. Just because someone's calling it this, unless it's verified or it's through a reliable source, it could be Oreos. And Oreos is like one of my least favorite things in the whole world.
Right. And I feel like that's how the industry was for a while, though. People would be getting the same packs, but selling it to different people, calling it different things. So I think that was just like a culture that ended up happening in the cannabis industry. But now, like breeders like yourself and people are like, no, this is exactly what it is. We double crossed it, backed it, you know.
Right. Well, get it from the source, you know, or have it through someone who's verified it through the source.
Right.
But yeah, this is clean.
Yeah, no, I feel good off of that.
Yeah. It's so funny. You know, it's 10 in the morning. We're getting ripped. I love that. And it's like, this is something that I enjoy doing, you know, with the podcast. We're in over 160 podcasts now. So like, it's been a fun journey and smoking with people. And sometimes we don't smoke on the podcast. Sometimes we do. It's different. It's subject to the individual. Some of the biggest stoners don't like smoking on camera too. It's so funny that I have my friends that are coming on here, someone I smoke with a lot, and then they come on the podcast. They're like, oh, I want to wait till we're done with the podcast.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that too. I feel like some people, you know, some people it loosens them up. Some people, they get a little nervous if they've never been on camera before, but it's a fun thing, you know, and I feel like it changes the conversation in usually a positive way. So.
Well, I feel like most of the time, especially growing up, when you're smoking weed, you're with a couple buddies.
Yeah.
What you do is you smoke weed and you just talk about shit, you know? So
yeah.
Did you see this, and that, or what if this, and this, or just high thoughts. So it's just a natural environment, just sitting here smoking weed and then you're just talking.
Exactly. You forget the cameras are rolling. And it's like, you know, and people say the craziest stuff when they're high too sometimes, you know, and I feel like food go hand in hand with cannabis, or food goes hand in hand with cannabis for sure. You know, and my experience with cooking, it was like there was these things and they both contribute to making the world a better place. You know, I think golf has its place too. And it's like when we can do all these things and evolve, you know, as people, and also getting outside your comfort zone. That's another thing. Like if you haven't played golf yet, and a lot of people are scared to get outside their comfort zone, I feel like you, for example, love getting out of your comfort zone. You've done so many different things. And that's something I strive to do every week, is try to do something that's uncomfortable out of my comfort zone, whether it's wake up earlier, just to wake up earlier, or whether it's to do something at the gym, or whether it's, you know, learn how to roll a new style joint. Like that's the other thing I've been working on like lately is like, okay, well, I'm going to figure this out.
Right.
All right. And the more you can do that, the more you can kind of evolve and do stuff to make yourself successful, and also not get bored. Because I feel like if you do the same thing over and over, and you do like the same exact day, you wake up, you brush your teeth, or hopefully brush your teeth, you know, and then you go through life doing the same thing. You eat your breakfast at the same time, you go to work, you come home, you do your thing, you watch TV, you go to sleep. That's going to speed life up. A lot of people don't understand when you get in repetition like that, and your weekends are your like little time, and you do the same thing over and over. The more you are out of your comfort zone and out of your repetitious life, the slower time becomes. And I feel like because you're trying to figure stuff out, you don't know what's coming next always. So that slows down life a little bit. And I love that part of life, you know, and there's so many things to explore. Being here in this day and age, it's endless, right? Places you can go, places you can see, things you can do. There's so many options. It's almost sensory overload when you start thinking about it, but really it gives you the opportunity to experience life to its fullest.
Right. No, and I think to touch on what you said, just being uncomfortable is really the only way you can grow. Because if you're stuck in that rut, you know, you don't ever try anything new. The stuff sounds more scary to you than it actually is. Once you go and do it, you're like, that was it, you know, and then that builds your confidence. Then you try the next thing, and then you just feel like you could do anything, you know? So I think being uncomfortable is kind of one of the strongest things you could do, because like growing up, we've had things happen. And so growing up, I was always a good athlete because I had, you know, uncomfortable situations. So I had to make sure I was doing this, that, and the next. Right. And then same as you get as an adult, you know, you want to build in your career, you got to take some risks. You got to try some things outside of the box that some people might not think would work. And then you literally just figure it out as it goes. It's just, I usually do a lot of things like that. I don't plan like 10 years in the future. I'm just like kind of right now in the moment kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, I try to be both. I'm a little older now. And when I was your age, I was very much like you. I was in the moment with everything, right? But then as you get older, you got to plan a little bit more. I mean, I think it's important to live in the moment to a degree, but there's also like this planning. But when you're young, you should be living in the moment and you should be hustling and you should be working hard and trying to figure stuff out. But if there's one thing you can be good at, being uncomfortable is probably the best one because you can do anything with it.
Right. You get into any situation, you get in you do a podcast and then you've never been on a podcast before, or you go and play a golf round. So I tell people this all the time too. So as a good golfer, people always get uncomfortable golfing with you because they think they need to compete on the same level as you.
And it's never going to happen.
And it's never going to happen. And on top of that, I don't care what you shoot. Like, you should enjoy your time. I'm going to play and do what I'm trying to do because in golf, I have to just worry about me. It's not like me playing versus you.
Yeah.
I'm playing against the course. So how am I going to outsmart this course? So I notice a lot of people get uncomfortable, but then just like light up a joint, get the vibes going, and then they calm down, settle down, and they start feeling better. And they're like, oh, okay, it wasn't that bad playing with you. Actually, I thought you were going to be judging me and this and that. And
it's the best thing in the world. To be honest, that's how I've had the best rounds of my life, is playing with, and I play with guys that are better golfers than me typically.
Mm-hmm.
My friends that golf, they golf a lot. So when I go out with them, I'm not as good, but I feel like I improve so much more when they level you up, right? And they'll help you figure it out. And you're only playing against yourself in life too. In life, like a lot of people think, oh, well, it's a competition. I'm a breeder and these other guys are breeders and we're fighting for market share. No, you're in competition with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
With everything in life. So
yeah,
that's more golf lessons, right? These are the lessons you learn from golf. And there's so many of them.
So many. We could sit here, talk all day about them, but I think that's why the parallels, it's just one of those things. If you get into golf, you're going to learn a lot of life lessons.
Yeah.
You could start out around playing as bad as you've ever played. And then a few holes in, something clicks and you have one of your best rounds ever. Yeah. But you get through those first few holes, you didn't give up, and then you end up, having a day. Or sometimes it's the opposite. You play good all day and on the last hole you could blow it. So it's just, that teaches you those lessons of like, it's not over till you're done. It's never over even when things are bad. It's just, it's totally really is a life lesson.
I'm a front nine sort of guy. Like, I'm good on the front nine, and then we get in the back nine. I start thinking about life and all the other stuff that I should be doing because I've been out here for 3 hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes I like leave. Yeah, we're like hole 10 and I'm out. Like, I gotta go handle shit. And people are like, what is wrong with this guy? But it's interesting. The game of golf, and I mean, I think just so many ways to relate it to life. So
right. For sure. Yeah, it's I think it's good for everybody to get into. I think even if somebody's listening to this right now and they've never golfed, but they're going to be watching this because they smoke weed, so just you get $50 used old set from the 80s, 90s, go hit a couple balls and just get that feeling of what it's like to have to focus in on something, learn the structures and then you start to enjoy it. And then it's
well, you know what one of the biggest stoner games of all time is? Disc golf. What are your thoughts on disc golf?
I've never personally played. I've seen it.
Yeah.
For me, I just think hitting a golf ball would be more fun in my mind than like throwing the disc or whatever. So that's my reason why I haven't done it. Like if I'm going to go to the golf course, because some of them have like next to the green or somewhere in the corner, the cage basket. But I'm going to go play golf,
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of stoners that play disc golf. It's free. It's very, to get into it, it's very cheap. It's like, it's a shorter game typically. But I love disc golf too. I have a bunch of friends that's what they do. And we played with some of the golf pros not golf pros, disc golf pros that are, these guys can throw that disc so friggin' far. It's insane, and it's like, it's one of those things. Each to their own. Everybody's got something that is fun and
right. I'm sure it has all similar lessons too,
Yeah.
A little bit different, but something to learn from and something to do while you're outside. You're outside again, perfect for smoking weed, perfect for visualizing. So
you just walk on, there's no cart, go smoke a joint or joints. Typically it's right, joints. Multiple joints, multiple doinks. But yeah, and it's like, well, and there's just so many different things. Let's say you're in an area that there is no golf, you can go find someone that has disc golf a lot of times.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you could even make your own courses. They have like some portable ones, or you could bring a few out and then you make your own holes. So
Amazon.
I think that's pretty cool. Yeah. Something on Amazon.
Literally, you can make your own golf course for really cheap with disc golf.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah. If you had one piece of advice for young entrepreneurs that are coming up into this industry, what would your one piece be?
I think it's just kind of just stay steady and keep doing what you're doing, because whether somebody else tells you they think it's a good idea or not, they actually don't see the full vision that's in your head, you know? So the same thing, like we're playing our own ball in golf. So I'm worried about my own game. Just stay steady, worry about what you've got going on. And, you know, you're going to have a bunch of problems that come up. So I think that's the second part of it, is being able to be a problem solver. If you can be a problem solver, then that's how you make things happen. Whether this happens, that happens the next. I think that's like a really good trait to have, is being a problem solver when it comes to business.
Yeah. What major sport do you think cannabis will enter next?
Well, I'm thinking golf, because that's what my mission is, essentially. There's MLB, NBA, NFL players. They're all talking about that they use cannabis throughout their careers. So those are all kind of taken already. So I think if there were to be another sport, that this is going to be, you know, the new revolution and the new style of golf.
Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. It's spreading like wildfire.
Yeah.
UFC guys are coming out talking about how they dosed in fights before too. It's pretty funny. Blake, I don't know his last name, but yeah, he's just talking about how he dosed in Canada, lost the fight. So if people are looking to find more about you, where's the best place to go?
Go on to Instagram at 8th_iron, and you'll see everything you need to know. We'll be posting. We got a lot of cool things coming out, more events to come. Like we talked about, cannabis product line, more merch. So, 8th Iron.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Looking forward to the golf tournament soon.
Yep. I'll see you there.
Thank you. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you guys very much for your support. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe down below.